Hi, and welcome to On the Couch, Conversations with Brenda Porter, and today's guest is the fabulous, wonderful Donna Biscoe. Donna is, as an actor extraordinaire, she does theater and she does film. You may have seen her on Greenleaf, on Army Wives, on Saints and Sinners, on she's upcoming in February. She'll be on Ozark, and she is just recently. She has completed filming All the Queen's Men. Okay, so Donna, tell us a little bit about this last project that you just got finished with. And
well, the last project is produced by Tyler Perry. I believe this is one of the first projects that he hasn't written or directed. So this is really the opposite of usually how he operates. But we were on the Tyler Perry Studios, quarantined, and it was a really interesting shoot. For those of you that have seen the show P-Valley, it's kind of that same kind of comparison, except for women strippers, it's about male strippers and a woman who runs this strip club and all their stories and issues and problems. And I play the mother of a young woman who was killed by the woman who runs the strip club, well, her nephew. And so I have conversations, my scenes are with the conversations, a conversation with the nephew and the madam, they call her madam. So, but the story itself should be real interesting, and I think people will like it. And there's a lot of eye candy for the ladies. It's a lot of eye candy in it. So there, I'm sure we'll appreciate that also.
So it's a film or it's a series?
It's a series. It's on BET Stream.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
So who directed it then?
Well, they actually have different directors. The scenes that I directed, was in Kim Fields directed. Okay. So she's one of the main directors on the show.
Well, that's nice. That's really nice to have a female director there.
Yeah, I was really excited about that. I like Kim a lot.
So you mentioned that you were quarantined, and I know that you've been doing, since the pandemic, you are one of the few actors who has been working and working and working. How has it been during the pandemic working, and how did working and being quarantined on Tyler Perry's studios differ from the other?
Well, because I actually started working back in February, I believe it was February or March. And they had, when I was shooting Saints and Sinners, and then we shot the movie, because there's a movie coming along with the season this year. They had all the protocols in place. I think I'm one of the most tested people in America, because you have to, you go through a series of tests before you even start shooting. And once we started shooting, we had to get tested. I think it started out like twice a week, and then it progressed to almost 3 times a week or something like that. So we were constantly getting tested, and they had all these protocols about food and what you could and could not touch. So that was very interesting. And then we actually had to shut down for a minute on Saints and Sinners because we did have a breakout, which I think, and that's the one thing about COVID testing we have to watch, because you can have false positive testing, because the gentleman that they said tested positive, he was tested again and he was negative. So we, saints and sinners had their protocol in place. And like I said before, you couldn't touch any food or, there was some social distancing. It's really hard to social distance when you're shooting. It's really hard. I don't care what anybody says, but, and they had protocols in place for when we were shooting a scene where you had to be in close proximity to another actor. They would let you know that beforehand. So if you had a problem with it, you can voice your fears. But the difference in having an open set and being in a quarantine set is we still had the same protocol. We had to get tested twice before we were even able to come into quarantine. And once we came into campus, we got tested again right away. Walking in, he's serious about that safety over there. The luggage was tested and sprayed down and the whole bit before you can even bring your luggage in. They did safety spraying of your luggage. And once you got in camp, you had to quarantine for 24 hours until you got your test results back. And once you were in, and even once we were in there, and everyone in campus has been tested, and you have to get tested again. So we got tested, I think it was every Thursday or every other Thursday. So we were constantly, even in quarantine, once you get into camp, and you get your temperature checked every day, just in case. So they're serious. Tyler is serious about keeping everybody who comes in there safe. He really is. And he takes good care of you once you're in there, because you're away from family and all that, and it's not like you can leave and go to Walgreens, so he tries to have everything you need in there. Yeah. But it was fun. It was like a vacation because you get in there and everything's provided for you. You don't have to cook. You're in a nice facility, so it was really great. They have a gym there for you if you need to work, if you want to work out. And, we had all these guys who were strippers and stuff. So they had to have a place to really stay, I guess, beefed up. So they have gym there. They have bike rides. So it's not like you're just sitting around, doing nothing.
Nice.
They have activities for you. So good place to work.
So were you ever afraid?
No, not ever. Not ever. I think that's the difference between having an open set and being quarantined. It's because everybody's in that same bubble, and you really don't have a choice but to follow the rules. But if you're on an open set and everybody's going home every day, all you can do is hope that everybody is keeping themselves safe.
Right.
Once, you're away from set. And that's pretty much the only way you're really able for an open set, as far as I'm concerned, to really keep it tight, is that you come to work and you go home, and that, I think that's why we were continuously having to get tested, is because we were going back out into the world, and you never know who you're coming in contact with.
So yeah. Saint and Sinners, you says, has a movie now that goes along?
Yes, because we shot season 5. Yes. And then they have a movie, because it's been a long time between season 4 and season 5. And I think what they wanted to do was have some kind of vehicle that connected you to the seasons
Okay.
to kind of let you see what transpires between those two seasons. So when season 5 comes along, you're like, what? So we're having this movie before the new season begins. And the movie is a lot about Lady Bird, my character,
Who is
um,
crazy as all get out.
who
I'm
is
sorry.
crazy as a bed bug. And you see how between season 4 and season 5, she's set up pretty much all of these events that you'll see start opening up in season 5. And it was so funny because when we started shooting the season, I kept hearing something about a movie because I didn't know anything about the movie when we started shooting the series. And so I was like, well, what's the movie about? And everyone was like, "Oh, we don't really know what the movie's about. So I kept hearing about the series and then one day the showrunner came to me and we were about to finish wrapping the series. And, we had this conversation. He was like, thank you so much for the season. And you know about the movie, right? And I said, well, I keep hearing about this movie. I don't know anything about it. And he was like, you haven't gotten the script? And I was like, no. So he's like, I'll make sure you get the script. And please, 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 I want you to do the movie. And I just figured I was going to have some small part, in the movie, maybe narrating or something. And then when I got the script, my character's name is in the title of the movie.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh. I was really thrown off, and I was like, okay, what's this about? So I started reading it and went, well, isn't this interesting? Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. You think she's crazy,
Oh, I
but
know she's crazy. Woo.
oh, my friends. Wait
And
till you
you
see the
really, I mean, you always do such good work, but who you got her.
movie. She's a lot of
Where's
fun. She really,
where is she gonna go? Yeah.
yeah. She and during the season though, you see a side of her that you've never seen
Oh.
um in the season, and you're like, what's this about? When you see it, because she's not that fierce, I will take you out
Oh.
person that you're used to seeing. So
Oh,
yeah,
I
it'll
can't
be interesting.
I can't wait. She's got to be. She has to be one of the most fun characters you've played.
Oh, she, without a doubt, without a doubt. And I love that they give me free reign of her to really be able to just interpret her the way I see it, or um, they might want her to be more fun or more evil, or more evil, and I might want her to be, well, no, let's have a little more fun with her here. So um they are always open to any suggestions that I might have for.
Oh, that's nice. That's
Yeah,
nice.
which is fun. Yeah, yeah.
Now, you did not, even though you've been acting, my understanding is since you were like in third grade or something, right?
I actually got into acting really late, what's considered late, I guess, for the business. I was what, 26, almost 30 before I started acting. And I kind of just fell into it because I had never gone to school for it.
Really?
Um, Mm-mm. Didn't have I wasn't a thespian at the time. I wasn't classically trained. I met a guy on the airplane who was a casting director. And because I was a flight attendant at the time. And we got into this conversation, being nosy me. Oh, I've always wanted to do that, so we started talking about it and everything. And we were going to Milwaukee. And by the time we got to Milwaukee, the agent came on and said, somebody wants to talk to you outside. And it was the guy I had been talking to on the plane. And he asked if I would be interested. I think he was casting some kind of conference or convention or something. And he asked if I would be interested in working the convention. So I was like, yeah, sure. So me just thinking wildly was like, oh, I need to go get some pictures done, So I went and had some headshots done, and it's like, oh, well, what am I going to do with my headshots now? I'm going to send them out. And at that time, you could actually walk into an agent's office, and leave your material. So I walked into a couple of agents' offices, left my headshots, and the next day I got a call. And went in to meet the agent, and they signed me right then and started sending me out. And I started out kind of like doing print. And then she started sending me out for commercials. And then she started sending me out for TV stuff. And I was like, I don't know anything about acting. And she was like, well, just go and act like you do. So I would go on these auditions and everything. So I was like, well, look, not being the kind of person that just wanted to come off looking totally crazy, I started taking classes and went to New York for a year and studied at Strasberg Institute, and just went from there. And God blessed me, tapped me on the shoulder and said, okay, let's go for it. And knock on wood, I've been really lucky to have started as late as I did,
Well,
and
you
to have
have
been.
such massive talent because you have an ability to get inside that character. It's almost as if there a lot of times I find people who have psychology degrees
Mhm,
are really good at dissecting characters. And
mhm.
so without you having a psychology degree that I know of, then I was like, she can really, because psychology degree people who decide to go to acting can tear that character up, but you have an ability to really get inside of those characters, and it's wonderful watching you work. It really is.
Thank you. Because starting out, theater was the very first thing I did, were theater productions. And believe it or not, I can be kind of shy, not be someone who, well, you know me, but you and I are good friends, but but if you don't know me, I'm not just like the chatterbox, just this huge personality. But if that's one reason I think I love acting, is because I can be different people that I'm not normally as my everyday person.
Mhm.
I think that's why I have so much fun with Lady Bird on Saints and Sinners, because she is just so out there and she will just truly say anything, whatever she wants. And I'm not somebody who would do that. So for me, just really trying to figure out who these people are, um, try to figure out how in some way they are connected to me.
Mhm.
'Cause I think I've been able to find some part of every character I've ever played, some part in me that I didn't know was
Mhm.
there. And it's helped me also actually to be more verbal, I think, to be aggressive isn't the right word, but to be able to stand up for myself more
Mhm.
since I've started working, um, which is a good thing for me, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because I haven't done theater in quite some time, but I absolutely always loved the rehearsal process in theater. Absolutely love it. Figuring out what's going on, because it used to be so confusing to me, especially when you don't begin from the beginning to the end and then putting it all together so that it finally starts making sense to you. And film is the same way, really. Um, but I always loved that part of the process, which helped me to figure out, because it was a longer span of time that you get to sit with a character in theater and to be able to figure out who they are. So that's one thing I love about theater.
Yeah, that's what when I do film, that's what I miss. I miss
Yeah.
that because you got to do all that work on your own and not with other people.
But also in television and film, at least for me, I can't say that I don't really, what I try more so in theater and film is to learn words first, try to figure out what's going on. But for me, once I'm on set and in the crust of shooting a scene, that's when I really figure out, okay, this is how this is going to work for me. This is where the character is, especially depending on whoever my scene partner is. I'll know the words,
Okay.
but I don't always know how those words are going to be delivered, depending on who my scene partner is.
Okay.
Who the other person, because that's like, for instance, let's say All the Queen's Men. I knew Eva was the lead in the show and that she and I were going to have a scene together. But I didn't know anything about her acting or her acting ability. I had never seen her or anything. So what I wanted to do was to wait to get in that scene to see what she was going to give to me. I knew what the crust of the scene was about, what my character had gone through, how I felt about her nephew, but I didn't really know her. So I just kind of just waited. I learned my words and then I played. Once we got there, I just played.
Your objective and your intent and all of that.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And because even for me, I noticed that because it's very true what you hear about that Tyler Perry machine. It's like a roller coaster, baby. So you better come in there knowing what you're doing, because I think we got maybe 4 takes, and before they moved on to the next scene, and I noticed each take was different. Something else happened as we evolved through each take.
What do you mean in terms of different? In what way?
Because the very first take was a little more tame. I knew, what I wanted to say, but as we progressed, and I even noticed that about her when she was working, as we progressed, different tiny little things changed. The attitude changed. One scene, I was very, very serious, almost tearful. Another scene, I found myself laughing before, I said my words. Each, it might have been the most minute thing changed and of course it gets stronger as you go, because you get more comfortable with each other. So, well, 4 takes, but as comfortable as you can get. Yeah.
Okay. So, as a flight attendant, before you knew you were acting, because you acted and did flight attending for a while, both, right?
I did. I did. And Girl, I would be lying on my job because I would get an actor job or something and I'd call in sick. And I said it was probably a good thing Eastern went under when they did because they were probably about to fire me. Because I was constantly making up stories. Um, not to have to go to work. And I think after a while, they started hearing that I was acting.
Mm.
So they were kind of going, uh-huh, so it worked out well, needless to say. But it served its purpose for a long time because I was a flight attendant for like 13 years.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, for a long time. So it served its purpose. And once Eastern went under, then I was like, okay, you don't have another job, so you got to go for it. And I don't think I've worked since then. I mean, 9 to 5 since then. Yeah.
I don't know.
Listen, I've been
I can't
blessed. I
do
know I've been
that.
blessed because I think, oh no, I did. Yes, I did because I started student teaching after a while, not substitute teaching.
Oh, that's
Because for any of you out there that are thespians and you're just starting out, substitute teaching is a perfect job
mm,
for having some money coming in because you go when you want to go. And when you're working, you let them know you're not available from this period to that period. When you're done shooting, you come back, you reactivate yourself. So it that was a good job for me.
but
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
also are a teacher. I mean, you teach acting, you do coaching. So
I do some private coaching. As you know, we had the practice, which you were a part of,
that's
um, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that too. I enjoy new folks getting into the business. Um, um, People who aren't as seasoned, um, who are really interested in figuring out the ins and outs of trying to find a character. Not so much what they look like or, you know, I like coaching folks during auditions because I put people on tape too. And I offer coaching as I put you on tape. So I love being able to have that playtime with them when they come, if that's something they want to do, to maybe suggest, well, how about we try it this way? So they can see, oh wow, or to help them see a different perspective.
Mhm.
Um, and to have really more than one, because I try to lead them, send them away with, you have two options here, two different ways that you could have done it, and giving them those options, to be able to send in during their auditions.
So what is it about newbies that you like as opposed to seasoned in terms of coaching?
Well, newbies aren't so set in their ways.
Hmm.
They're more open to different points of views, I think. Um, I love teaching maybe the right questions to ask, because sometimes as people who've been around for so long, you forget the basics. And that helps me also to go back to the basics
Uh-huh.
and to remember, what questions to ask when going over sides, or how do you figure out what a character wants And then once you figure out what they want, how are you going to go about getting what you want? And to helping an actor maybe not make the safe choice,
Mm-hmm.
on top of, okay, let's do that safe choice, but let's do another one and play. you know, um, they're usually always open to that. More seasoned actors come in with exactly how they want to do it, exactly how they want to say it, so I just basically stand back and turn the camera on, and say my lines, try to give them a little something, to play with, to bounce off of. But that's basically it. But newer folks are more open to different perspectives of what they're doing. Yeah, and that's always fun.
So, because of COVID, you probably have not been doing as much taping.
I haven't been doing any.
Okay.
So when COVID started, I shut that down like right away. So I'm hoping that, the further we go along with people getting vaccinated and the whole bit, that I'll be able to open that up. Because I've never like had like tons of clients. I usually work from referrals anyway, which is probably not a good thing, but it's not something that I do to try to like make tons of money. Because even when I've had people to come to me and I tell them what I charge, they usually always end up paying me more because they're like, oh, that's ridiculous. It's so crazy because my fee is so low. I really enjoy it. So I don't, it's not like I'm okay, I'm charging you $50 a minute, but it's so it was usually by referral anyway. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because I know, and I've had a couple of people ask about the practice. You mentioned the practice. A couple of people said,
Mhm.
Are you guys going to start the practice back up?"
Well, that might be something we need to talk about because now in this day and age of Zoom, you
Right.
know, it would be it's so easy to do if there were people out there that were interested in doing that. Because we could just do a class for, are you new to the business?
Ooh, I like it.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, that'd be fun. So
We should-
I love though now, like well before COVID, um, watching people when I traveled
Mhm.
in the airport. That was really my most favorite thing to do, was to just find a corner somewhere in the airport or at my gate and just literally just watch people. Not really trying to get into their conversations, right? But just watch their interaction with each other or their children, or, if they were lovers, how they interacted, um, or how crazy they were, what they were wearing. Um, but I, and even now, though, I still like doing that. That way, um, kind of character watching.
Hmm.
I love doing that because during COVID, I think sort of my writing juices have. That was one good thing about being in quarantine at Tyler's. I had started like a zillion years ago with this scenario, and had started writing this film. And being in quarantine kind of really activated my juices for some reason,
Mm.
because my roommate in quarantine had written a short film. Well, she had somebody write it for her. She started it and produced it.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? pull my computer out and really started working on this film again. So ever since then, I've been kind of every day trying to sit down, and because I've never considered myself a writer ever.
I did not know you were a writer, Don.
I'm not, but they say if you sit down and write, that makes you a writer. So I'm working on that now. And now all this stuff is starting to kind of churn in my head. Oh, you know what? That would make a good story, or, just different stuff that I do. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited about that, and went out and purchased all the screenwriting apps and stuff to use to help you, format in the screenwriting Bible, trying to just really learn as much about it as I can. So I'm kind of in that space right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm excited for you. That's really great. Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem with writing is things come to me so much. I don't know what to
Yeah.
choose.
I'm kind of in the same place, because now it's like, oh, I need to sit down and figure out, write out everything that comes to mind about this character and where he's going, where he's been. I need to figure that out. And then I need to figure out this person and what they're doing. So, and plus I'm reading the book, trying, oh, okay, I got to do this. So it's really, really a learning process. And there's really a formula to it all. I just haven't figured out what it is exactly. But I'm hoping uh, I just go one day, go, oh, okay. Because I get these thoughts, because my biggest fear was dialogue. What do I do? How do I write dialogue? What are they going to say? What are they going to talk about? But I think I figured out in my brain, okay, let's just figure out the scene first, each individual scene, and then we'll work on that. So it's work in progress.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I want to read it when it's done. I want to read it.
Yeah. So any screenwriters out there, I'm always looking for a little help.
So we're about at the end of our time. What is it that you feel like you need to tell us that we haven't talked about?
Well, my biggest thing right now is just hang in there. Just really hang in there. This is the time, I think, for all of us to just sit and reflect. We've had no other choice but to sit and be quiet, and that we should really take advantage of that right now. Because as I've discovered with the writing, we will discover things about ourselves in this moment that will hopefully benefit us on the other side. But to be smart, because things have changed for just about every person on this planet in some way. It might be financially, you lost your job, or you've lost a loved one. And that we have to sit in those moments and decide what our next step is. Sometimes it's like in acting, you really do have to work moment to moment. And sometimes life is moment to moment. And we just need to be smart about those moments, I think. And that on the other side, it'll be okay. It'll all be okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
And for
you.
those of you out there, please, please, please continue to watch our conversations on the couch. Like, subscribe, all those things they tell you to do. And enjoy 2021.
Yes, please do, and be safe out there.
Yes.